The front door may have been open. The cleared people may be re-interviewed. And Xana and Ethan were at the Sigma Chi party the entire time. Let's get into some Idaho 4 updates. Hey guys, Empowering True Crime, Alex here. And if this is the first time you've heard of the Idaho 4, it was a case on November 13th where 4 University of Idaho students were stabbed to death. And as of today, there is no suspect and no murder weapon found. And so we do have some updates on this case, and we're going to get into those right now. There was this really great article, and it was actually published today, but the information is actually from yesterday. And it says here, the Idaho murders, slain university student's neighbor says front door was left wide open after attacks. So let's listen to the report.
She is live in Moscow, Idaho. You had an interview with the police chief yesterday. What's happening there today?
Hi, John. Yeah, the police chief gave us great new information and says that they're on pretty good track here to hammer out the timeline and exactly where these victims were the night this all went down in that house behind me just off of campus, which is a private rental. Now, today, this is the most that we've seen of investigators at the home in quite a few days. They've gone inside, including the police chief himself, back into that crime scene to try and gather belongings of these victims. This is because they had been talking to the families about some of the things they wanted from these girls, and they want those things from the house. So the police said, we'll go in, we'll get the list of the stuff you want, and we'll give it to you at a later date. So that's what we've been seeing out here, as you can see in some of those pictures. This is a step in the grieving process and also another step forward in the investigation, but the crime scene is still sealed. The police chief says they're doing everything they can to find the killer.
It's part of what we do, and we need to do that for the family. We need to go in and pack up stuff and get it, and we'll take it to a secure place so they can come and get that stuff. And is it easy? No, but they need that. And it's our job to do that for them. And it's our job to help with their closure, hopefully.
It's been nearly a month since Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were murdered in that off-campus rental home in Moscow, Idaho. Police are focused, John, on finishing their timeline on the night of the murders, and I just learned a short time ago about some of the whereabouts of the victims that night. Investigators had said just in the past 48 hours they were still trying to figure out what happened during an almost 5-hour gap between the time Kernodle and Chapin were seen at a frat party nearby and the time they got home. But investigators have now told me that they believe those two were at the Sigma Chi fraternity party the entire time. Police have questioned dozens of people, including members of that frat, just trying to figure out some clues in this case, but no arrest yet. Just because someone's been cleared right now, does that mean they might be re-interviewed?
Many hours have gone into that, and several investigators and the investigative team have all looked at the information that comes in, and they've verified that those people can be cleared. So what I want to assure them is we're doing everything we can, and we're taking our time to do it right.
And doing everything they can, including talking to neighbors. I talked to some neighbors who live nearby here too, John, a few hours ago. They told me something that was pretty interesting. We've been talking about that backsliding door so much, but the front door, I'm told by a neighbor who walked by that morning who was coming back to his apartment, was wide open around 8:39 a.m. He told me that he gave that information to investigators, but we hadn't heard too much about that front door. And around 8:39 a.m. would have been a pretty good amount of time before police ever got the call that those students were dead inside. John.
So police say they believe the stabbings happened between 3 and 4 that same morning when the victims were sleeping, and as Moscow police officers were responding to an unrelated incident about 100 yards away. So what do we have? Supposedly, the stabbings happened between 3 and 4 a.m. There was an unrelated incident, apparently about 100 yards away on that field that's right behind the Sigma Chi house. And there was a footage, the body cam footage that came out from that showed that maybe there was some lights flickering in the upstairs, the 3rd floor of the house where Maddie and Kaylee potentially were. And I'm not sure about that. That's definitely up for debate. Then there was potentially a car spotted, which is the white car that I talked about yesterday, that I reported yesterday, the white Hyundai Elantra that the officers want to find. So is there a potential that that body cam footage caught a car that could be or know something about the crime? Let's see. And I'll pull that up now in a second as well so that we can see what that is. So this is stock footage, but this is an example of a 2011 or 2013 Hyundai Elantra that may have been at the site in the early morning of November 13th, potentially caught in that body cam footage from the unrelated report that happened just down by the field. And so investigators are looking for this car to see if whoever either owns it or was occupying it, driving it, has something to say, has some information related to the stabbing. So the other things that we learned from this report, the front door was open according to one of the neighbors. So if the person that did the killing entered through the sliding door, went upstairs to the 3rd floor, maybe found Ethan and Xana on the 2nd floor as he was exiting, or he or she was exiting, and maybe went down to the ground floor, which is where the front door was. You know, I mean, it's still speculative at this point, but it does, you know, this is the first time we're hearing that the front door was seen open, wide open. And why would it have been wide open? Was somebody trying to leave in a hurry? Was he or she or the person was surprised? Let's say if Ethan came out of the 2nd floor bedroom and surprised him, got attacked and then left, you know? So that does have some additional information, but also brings up some more questions. And if the person went in through the back, but then left through the front, you know, it's very interesting. Or maybe was there a second person that was involved that maybe went in or out or what, you know? So it's very interesting to see that if you look at the house and the entry and exit points there. And then the timeline for this whole gap in the timeline for Ethan and Xana. The investigators have been trying to find what else they may have been doing in this almost 5-hour gap. And in this report, it appears that investigators are saying that they were at the party, the Sigma Chi party, the entire time. So seems a little fishy to me because, you know, college students, especially on a Saturday night, people are bouncing around, going to different places. In fact, Ethan was spotted early in the evening at another party that his sister sorority was hosting. So if he was only there for a short period of time, which that's what it appears, that he was only there for a short period of time, why would he be at a party for almost 6 hours? It seems like a long time to be at one party, especially both of them. You know, maybe Ethan was at the party for 6 hours or at the Sigma Chi house for 6 hours. And then maybe Xana joined him later, right? So it seems a little bit fishy or suspect to me that they would be at that party or they would be there at the Sigma Chi house for that long. So I would like to see if anything else comes out legitimate or credible sources that show that where they were or what they may have been doing during that time frame. It does say that investigators have interviewed lots of the Sigma Chi fraternity brothers. So the sources seem to be indicating that they were there at least most of that time. So we'll see what else comes out from that. Let's keep the victims in our thoughts and prayers, the family and loved ones as well. Because remember, this is all about finding justice for the victims and also justice for the family members and loved ones who remain now. This was a lot of new information today. What are your thoughts? Do you think any of this will affect the timeline? Do you think any of this will affect who law enforcement believes could be the killer? If you enjoy this video and you like my style of true crime, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And with that, stay safe, stay thriving, and have an empowered week. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.